So shall I start?
Yeah, please.
Good evening, everybody. Today we have a very special guest amongst us. Please welcome Mr. Sanjay K. Jain. Mr. Sanjay K. Jain is a double gold medalist from IIM Ahmedabad. Apart from being a rank holder in cost accountant and a rank holder commerce graduate, he is also qualified company secretary.
I think she was disconnected.
Yes. I think so. I'll start then. It's okay. You don't need an introduction as such.
A prolific speaker, Mr. Sanjay has written many articles and has been featured in magazines such as Business India, Mava India, and Insight. He also has authored a book, A Pinch of Salt, in the recipe called Life, published by Bloomsbury. Welcome, sir. It is a great honor to have you here. Over to you, sir.
Thank you to iLead for inviting me to talk about, I think so, a very burning issue that is out of the box. And I don't think so there is anything more burning than how in these difficult times we are going to adapt, change, and find new routes and new options to lead our lives and do whatever we are doing and reach our goals. Maybe not through the same path, but through another path, but somehow reach our goals. Or in many cases, we'll need to change our goals. I would like to keep it an interactive and in discussion mode rather than give you a long lecture. So please, anyone at any point of time, you feel like saying something, sharing something, just go ahead, not an issue. You can just unmute yourself and share it because it's always you learn better when we discuss and interact with each other rather than just, a one-way monologue. But I'll speak what I want to speak. While it's important that I talk and discuss what you would like to know and learn. Now, coming to the topic itself, which is out of the box, I think so. When I grew up in my days, I grew up knowing one thing, that change is the only constant, which means that anything or everything else will change. The only thing will not change is change itself. It's always going to be a part and parcel of our life. So with change being the only constant, now how are we going ahead? How do we cope with it? But as I move forward in life, and today what I feel is change is no more an option itself in life, it's a compulsion. Whether we like or not, change is going to happen in our lives. And many people resist change, say change is not good. They feel uncomfortable with change, but it's no more an option where you can choose whether to embrace change or not. Change is going to happen in your life. Change is going to come in, whether you like it or not. What is an option today is whether you want to disrupt, whether you really want to just change or you want to move in a disruption mode. And who are leading today? If you look all around you, whether it's your school, your college, or any other place, the people who are doing something special, who stand out, who you and me envy, who we talk about, are people who have dared to dream. And after dreaming, act also. I know a lot of people dare to dream, but the number of people who dare to act is a very, very small percentage. So unless we dare to dream, disrupt, we are not going to move and create our own position. Yes, as any new thing in life, whenever you do something different, there's a big risk associated with it. Whether you like it or not, nothing comes easy. Nothing is easy in life. There are challenges there. But then again, what is the other option? Suppose we don't take any risk, we don't make any changes in life, where are we going to be? We're still going to move out of the box. Even if you stay at the same place, the box will move forward and you're going to still be out of the box, but on the wrong side. So rather than being on the wrong side out of the box, it's better that we be on the right side by moving ahead, anticipating change, embracing it and moving ahead. So that when the box moves ahead, we are aligned to that rather than being disaligned. Now, obviously, it's very easy to say, and I'm sure all of you must be hearing and talking about it, that we should think out of the box. Your teachers, your counselors must be telling you, let's be different. But is it so simple to be different? If it was so simple, then everyone would have been doing it. But unfortunately, it is not. Now, from where did I learn about out of the box? As I was just now introduced, I have done a lot of new things. I've got a lot of academic accomplishments. I've done well in business. Still, I learned out of the box from a class 8-year-old boy. I was never thinking in those terms of being different, embracing change, or being the change itself. And why I wasn't doing it? Because I was stuck in this normal route that you do what's given to you. You write your exam. If you write as per the book, you get good marks. If you try to be out of the book, you're daredevil. The teacher doesn't give you marks. You don't do well in life. If you don't get a good percentage, you don't move ahead. So this whole psychology and thought process was a big issue. So what I decided, and I learned, this class 8-year-old boy was studying in Xavier's, and he wrote a book called Potato Chips. It's something like Chetan Bhagat's 5 Point Someone, if all of you have read. It's an IIT experience. This was a school experience. It was written by a friend's son. So given no choice and being told to read it, I very politely went through it in a flight. It was a very simple book. And what that book told me was, he was a normal class 8-year-old boy. We all have been in school, college. We have had n number of school projects in life. But have we ever thought, what do we do in a school project? I'm sure you also have school projects, college projects. We normally prepare it. Today we take out from internet. We paste good pictures. We take up good content. We will decorate it very well. We use photographs, calligraphy, nice paper. Why? Because we are told and we believe that the teachers are only looking at how it's presented. So if you present it well, excuse me if any teacher is here. If you present it well, the same thing is a liked and you get good marks. Now what this boy did, he had a project on Egypt. He had to prepare a project on Egypt history, Asian history, and we all know the most famous thing in Egypt are the pyramids and the pharaohs who have been buried or are preserved inside. So what he did, he made a 3-dimensional pyramid. Rather than putting it in a flat piece of paper, booklet form, he created a 3-dimensional pyramid. And within that pyramid, he had made an opening through which he put his whole project in the same way as the pharaohs were preserved. And he took out that project from them. So it was a very simple thing. And I always thought, why couldn't I think of doing it where I could really depict the project? Throughout my life, I got 10 on 10 in projects. But I never made a project alive. And this is an example I shared in an IIT Kharagpur talk on entrepreneurship. And after a month, I got a call from a boy, said, sir, I heard you and I was inspired to be different. So I applied in a MNC, a big shoe company. I won't name the company. And I made my CV in the shape of a shoe sole. I'm sure a lot of you would be applying for companies or will be taking up jobs. He prepared his project in a shape of a shoe sole. And sir, he said, I put my points rather than putting them normally. I put them as different parts of the shoe. Just as the sole has an important role, the cover has an important role, the lace has an important role. I tried as best as possible to put my personal profile in that fashion. I told him, congratulations. He said, sir, I didn't get the job. I said, well, if you didn't get the job, why did you call me? He said, sir, I got a call from the HR head of that shoe company. And the person explained that because you are not a first-time pass-out chartered accountant, and we only prefer and allow first-time pass-out chartered accountants to pick up a job. As you have passed out after 3 times of struggle, sorry, we can't give you a job. But I really wanted to tell you that I've never ever seen such a creative CV in my whole life. And if I had not called you and told you about it, you would have thought you didn't get the job because you tried to be different, because you thought out of the box, because you were disruptive in nature. So I called you up to congratulate you and tell you don't lose this creative spirit inside you, because you may not succeed once or twice, but when you succeed, you're going to succeed really, really big. And you're going to be different from all the people and people who are also joining my company. So that's how life is. Many times you're going to be recognized. Sometimes you're going to be rewarded. But don't be disheartened. You must have heard the story of Hitler, who saw an ant trying to climb a wall. And that ant, despite trying n number of times, was not able to cover and scale the wall. However, the ant did not stop trying. And finally, the ant scaled the wall. And that gave Hitler an idea that that's how life is. I have failed many times, I'm going to fail ahead. But if I'm perseverance, if I keep trying, I'm going to succeed. Maybe I have to change the style I climb. You may be climbing in a certain fashion. You may need to change your style. But if your goal is on the top of the wall, there's no one at all in this world who can stop you from achieving that. And friends, there are n number of examples wherever you're going to look in life. You're only talking of those people who have done something different, who have been ahead of times. Yes, people who have just lived their lives, a royal life, nice life, they are just there, and that's it. A very famous person said that when you're doing something different, when you're changing something, people are asking you, why are you changing? But once you've done it, they ask you, how did you do it? So my very humble request is, not only in this post-COVID world where you again have no choice, please ask yourself simple questions. Don't get overawed by something ki out of box to bahut badi cheez hai. How can I do it? It has to be done by someone smart around. It has to be done by those special people who are very, very good. But friends, remember one thing. There are people, normal people who are doing extraordinary things. You have seen that someone has a Ferrari car and someone just has a mobike, a two-wheeler. What would be your first perception? The Ferrari guy is much ahead of you. But if both of you have to go in a traffic jam and you have to reach the airport, who's going to reach the airport? The Ferrari guy or the guy in a moped? Obviously, the guy in the moped, despite having much less resources, being very simple, he's going to go and reach there. So never get disheartened by the skill set of people around you, by the peers around you. We all are made for a special purpose. Everyone has something special in them, which is very different and which can take them forward. I knew someone who's today one of the best interior designers, earning not lakhs, crores of rupees, who's a brand in itself. But that person was miserable in maths. And the parents always thought that is a total Dumbo person. This person can never do anything in life because they could not, his parents were engineers. He could not pass he had to take commerce, he had to take humanities. Then he went on and he joined the school of design, etc. And then that's history, what he did. So everyone has his own skill set. And if you've seen a rubber band, I'm sure you all have seen a rubber band. A rubber band beyond a point cannot be pulled. So if you don't have it in you, you can only pull yourself 20, 30%. Maybe you don't have that elasticity for that particular job. So it doesn't mean that you don't have that, you are purposeless. No one in this world is purposeless. We all have a purpose. We all have a skill set. We all have a mind and heart to do something special. We may not have a Ferrari. We may not have those resources. We may not have deep pockets, but still we can make our mark. In fact, most people who have made a mark in life, if you see their life history, if you really have the time, or even if you can see in just the autobiographies and biographies of people who are successful, most of them have failed. Most of them were different. But the world did not accept them. They were ridiculed, but they had the courage to stand and fight. They never ever gave up. If they had given up, they would have never been part of history. We would never have heard about them. And even simple things like history, which we learn, it depends on what we see in history. We may see a Babur story and say that Babur was born in this year, he died in this year. Or we may see the way he strategized to defeat a 1 lakh army of Ibrahim Lodi, despite being stronger, much more powerful than him. Babur, just with a few thousand soldiers, could do much better, and he defeated a huge army. No one would have even bet on him a penny, but he very easily was able to defeat. So never get disheartened. I know it's a big challenge. We keep failing. Our dreams are not met. And sometimes we sit back and are so disheartened. And we tell ourselves we are good for nothing. Well, you may be not good for that something, but you're never good for nothing. You're only not good for something. No one is ever good for everything and no one is bad for everything. So please keep that in mind. It's a humble request to all my friends here. And I'll give you some simple examples and exercises we can do to make ourselves different, to make ourselves change agents, to make ourselves disruptors. First of all of you, just to give you an example, I'm sure you all celebrate Diwali. I know Diwali nowadays doesn't have those firecrackers, etc. But if you all remember, there was something called a Ladi, which was made out of 10,000 small bombs. Now, when you joined all those 10,000 small bombs and you lit it, the impact it created was massive. It was more than a chocolate bomb or any other bomb, which was a single bomb. So even if you are not able to make big changes, can we make a lot of small changes in life, which when put together can become much louder than a single disruption? Many people feel disruption is something which you have to do one single activity and everyone around you is going to be startled. But there's something called a silent disruption, where you silently build up a position, you silently create an ecosystem from where you can do wonders. So never think that you have to go and rock the world tomorrow morning. Typically, that's what people think with change and disruption. A lot of small changes, change into change into change into change equals disruption also. And one big activity can also be disruption. Now, how to change? Can we get up in the morning and ask ourselves a very simple question? Very simple. Can I do whatever I'm supposed to do today? Can I do it differently? Is there a different way of doing it? You just ask yourself a simple, it doesn't have to be something big. It could be a very simple thing. Suppose something is taking you 1 hour of activity to do that particular activity. Can you ask yourself, is it a different way of doing it? Can I, if it's a college function, you've been doing it the same way. You've been introducing speakers the same way. You've been sitting in the same way. You have a theater style sitting. Can we have the speaker in the middle rather than having the speaker on the podium and everyone sitting in a theater style? Can we have the speaker roaming around the class, the theater or the class, with a hands-free microphone and talking to everyone as if it's part of them? Is there anything you do, small or big? Just ask yourself, can I be different from what was being done yesterday by me or by anyone else? This simple question, when you start asking this question to yourself persistently, it's not every time that you're going to be doing something different, but they're going to be slowly, your mind will start practicing to think different, to ask questions. And believe me, friends, only those people succeed and find answers in life who ask questions. अगर आप सवाल नहीं पूछोगे तो जवाब कोई नहीं देगा. No one is ever going to come and give you an answer on their own. You need to ask questions. Even in a classroom, or most of your students, we fear to ask questions because we feel our peers are going to ridicule us. The professor may feel he doesn't know, he or she doesn't know anything. But she may not know something today. She may sound like an idiot today. But tomorrow, that person is going to be much more knowledgeable. So it's better to be an idiot or a stupid person for a moment rather than being an idiot for your whole life or ignorant for your whole life. So ask yourselves questions, ask others questions. We don't always need to lead change from our own mind. We can also get change by getting inputs from the environment around us. We just need to be receptive to the environment and pick up the right cues. Someone very harmlessly in your friend circle may be giving a great idea, but that person himself doesn't realize. He passes it as a joke. But you, if you can pick up that idea, develop upon it, maybe you can find a new path for yourself. So please keep asking yourself persistently. And if there's anything you can do tomorrow morning or today evening, whatever you're doing online classes, whatever, you may be teaching, you may be doing projects, ask yourself, can we do it a bit differently, which will create more impact and improve effectiveness. We typically are always stuck with the same thing, कि ऐसा ही होता है. This ऐसा ही होता है अगर होता, so today the world would have not have been what it was, it would have been what we have seen it 20-25 years back. Today, who are the companies we are talking about? Are we talking about General Motors? Are we talking about Xerox? Are we talking about Kodak? No, we are talking about a Google, we are talking about a Facebook, we are talking about a WhatsApp, we're talking about such high-tech companies, iPhone, Apple, who have been able to disrupt and bring change to our lives. So, and what did they do? They didn't, it's not that they brought, if you look at their inventions, in most cases, what did Apple do? It just simply said how to listen to music properly. Could you have an iPod? How could you talk to people better? How could you manage things within your hand by a simple phone? Simple questions led to simple answers. And then, of course, when you have a question, then you can really work for an answer because you have something in your mind. So I just wanted to leave all of you with this thought that life is never going to be the same tomorrow or day after, COVID or no COVID. Yes, COVID has brought more changes. Now today we are online. I would never have imagined to be speaking to students online. I would have always thought that I would be in a class. I've been to iLead earlier also. In fact, a few days back in one of the college fests, I was there as a chief guest in the inaugural program. Of course, I only had 5 minutes to speak and put forward my views. Today, I have a full 35, 45 minutes to interact with all of you. We can talk to each other. We can bounce ideas. So that's how the world changes and how much I'm saving much more time. Despite giving more time to speak, the actual time which I have spent is like 1/3 what that I spent when I drove down to iLead, where the program started half an hour after I reached, where after the program ended, I was there for another 5-10 minutes. But we need to learn how to use this digital platform, how to talk to each other, how to be comfortable to each other, so that we can maximize the benefit of it. Just hearing a one-side talk, out of box hoiye, different hoiye, everyone knows that you have to be different. And can I tell you anything different? Can I guide you? No, you are going to be your own guides and mentors. I'm just leaving questions with you. And can you look around people around you? Can you ask your education system? Are they teaching you anything to be different? Are they just telling you a recipe for success? Not knowing that when you go out with that dish of success in your hand, the whole taste of the world around you is going to change. People are not going to like that dish anymore. What is my book, which she said? I've written a very simple book, just 140 pages. It's called A Pinch of Salt in the Recipe Called Life. And what am I doing here? How did I realize that we may have everything in life? The best of chef, when he cooks a dish, he makes a perfect dish. But if by mistake, he just puts a pinch of salt less in the dish, the whole dish loses its taste. Do you remember so many times when your parents or cook or chef or mother has cooked a dish and there's just a pinch of salt which is less? Everything that you have goes in vain because you just miss that very small thing. And that's what life is. A lot of small things can make a big difference. We have 99% in us, but just because that 1% is missing, the whole 199% is also of no use to us. So we need to learn, work on small things, whether it's being out of the box, whether being a change agent, whether being a disruptor, whether asking the right questions, and so on and so forth. I've written 18 chapters, very simple chapters, just to share that there are such simple things in life which I have experienced, but which can be a big game changer, which can be impactful. And most important, those things are very simple to practice and adopt in our life. Because if things are very difficult, if I tell you something is very difficult, which is going to take you 1 year to do, you will think that who's going to do it for 1 year, and whether I succeed after 1 year, who knows? It's a demotivator to you. You're not motivated to really even start. So what will make you start at least? When you have simple solutions, simple steps in life, which are very easy for anyone to do. It's not for A, B or C. A to X or Z. Anyone can do those things if they just make a small effort in life. And trust me, friends, it's my experience, my exposure. I've seen so many people around, and I have been, when these simple stories, I have seen people getting motivated and doing amazing things in life. I just gave them the lead, but where they led to was totally different. Before I invite questions, observations, discussions, anything in your mind, I'll just close down with another simple example. A friend's daughter, we were sitting in a drawing room. She was participating in an inter-college business, some project quiz, I don't remember exactly. And she had a project on blindness. And she said, "Uncle, I'm presenting this and I'm preparing for it." I gave a very simple suggestion to her. I said, "Can you just change the way you present?" And I told her, she said, "What?" She says, "I'm going to be present. I have a PPT presentation, beautiful pictures, very nice showing how depicting." I said, "Can you do one more thing? Can you blindfold yourself?" She said, how can I blindfold myself? How will I be able to see the people around me? I said, don't blindfold yourself. Just blindfold yourself figuratively. Tie a handkerchief, a very small, thin piece of cloth. You can still see through it. But you're giving an impression that you are experiencing what a blind person experiences. You're going through the whole thing. And you have put yourself in the other person's shoe. And from that perspective, you prepared the project. You're not prepared it from a perspective of someone who has vision. You prepared it from a perspective of someone who who has blindness, who doesn't have the eyes to see through a mind. So she did that very simple thing. And even before the presentation started, the whole jury was impacted. And she could see it on their faces. The conversation after the presentation, the questions that came up, they were more questions they were statements of appreciation rather than questions. Because she created something different from everyone else. Maybe making a great PPT, using graphics. Today is, when I used to make a presentation maybe 20 years back, it made a big difference. But today, no. Because that's an in thing, everyone does it, everyone knows how to do it. They are educated and they're taught how to do it, they're trained how to do it. But a simple idea which needs no technology, which needs no props, can make a bigger difference. So I'll just leave it here because I've been speaking for a long time, one way. Would love if anyone has any comments, any suggestions, any questions, as weird as they are, they're most welcome.
Anyone has any questions, can please ask right now.
How many of you have in recent times done anything out of the box, which you feel was out of the box? If anyone has done, can you put it on the comment box? Or share if you would love to, if you're not apprehensive, you could share that experience. Maybe I can use it as an example when I talk again on this topic.
Hi, you're a very good friend of mine. I'm running a Montessori house, playhouse. So before the lockdown started, we had stopped, the school was closed for the session and we did not have any admission. I don't know how, whether it was out of box or not, but I found very good result when I started with these young toddlers of my school, 1.5 to 4 years of age, Zoom sessions, thrice or 4 times a week. And we are doing a lot of activities, creative classes with them. And this way parents are getting connected day by day. Like I started it with 9 to 10 students and now it is 30. So
if you can see, no one would have ever thought that Zoom could be a communication mode for a toddler. Because even when you're physically present, it's so difficult. But even a toddler with the aid of their parents would learn and understand from a Zoom session. So when you started thinking, because there was no choice and because school was closed, you came up with something different. And that's how, when you put press against a wall, that's when we really start thinking. As they say, the mother of most inventions is necessity. But if we, instead of waiting for necessity, can start trying to think of new options and new ideas, then we are going to be much better, be a leader rather than being part of the change system.
True.
Thank you very much, Sujata. Anyone else would have any examples they would love to share?
So I have a question, sir.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask, sir, if suppose like we are encouraging people to think out of the box, but sometimes there is a dead end that we hit at a certain point of time where we feel like, the new ideas are not coming and we feel very discouraged and we feel like we cannot do this. So what do we do in such situations to lift ourselves up?
First of all, if you find your hit a dead end and none of the ideas are working, I think so the first thing that you should do is, first of all, you should step back. Rather than banging your head against the wall, which you're not able to crack, it's better to step back 2 steps, sit down, I don't mean literally, wherever you are, maybe relax, with a relaxed mind, sleep over it, and then try to put everything down on a piece of paper. Sometimes when you put things, you organize things better, you are able to see things. Rather than everything being in the mind always, you're not able always to see the complete perspective. If you put things down on a piece of a paper, put down the various options you've used, put down what more you can think, and don't stop your thoughts. Look, I always say, never try to decide which bridge to cross before you arrive at the bridge. When you arrive at a T section or a multiple options, Then you start deciding which option to be take, which road to take. Many people decide much in advance that, okay, I'm going to be reaching here. There are going to be multiple options and I should take this option for advice reasons. Step back. When you reach there, put down again, analyze everything. And if you still can't find it, fair enough, just dump it, ditch it. Say this route or this thing is not made for me. Suppose you picked up a career, you picked up a job. You tried your best to perform. You tried your best to impress, but somehow you just could not do it. Now, if you could not do it, you could not do it. You take a call, step back, and so it is, and you change direction. It's not always possible in life that you're going to achieve everything. You should try, but it doesn't mean that you try endlessly and foolhardy. There's always a distinction between foolhardy and being intelligent. Being perseverant and just being blind. We should not be blind in life. We are supposed to be perseverant. But if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Fair enough. Everything is not meant for us. And life is full of opportunities. In fact, I always say life is a rainbow. There are multiple colors in the rainbow. So, and we just need to learn and live and enjoy all the colors. So don't get disheartened and stop doing anything. Just maybe you don't do that thing. You try to do something else. But you never stop in life. You just can't stop. Life is like a moving treadmill. If you try to stop, you're going to fall off the treadmill. So you just have to keep walking down. Where we walk is our choice. Not walking is not a choice. Anyone else has any questions? Please don't fear to ask questions or share experiences. It really doesn't make a difference. I don't know you, you don't know me. So it really doesn't matter. Okay, I think so. If Naika, no one has anything else to say, we can round up and wind it up. If there are no more questions, I'll just once again say, don't look for big changes. Do whatever you can. Ask yourself for simple things also, whether your daily chores are there in life. Can I do it differently? Can I be more efficient? Can I be more productive in life? And I'm sure you're going to come up with some of the most fantastic solutions in this world. And I'll just end with a small, simple solution which Colgate did many years back. They wanted to increase their consumption. And all people came up with various marketing ideas. Let's do this advertisement. Let's do this publicity. We said we'll need this budget. We'll need more salespeople. A very simple person, a low-end executive who didn't have the qualification, said a very simple thing. Sir, why can't we just increase the mouth of the toothpaste? So whenever a person presses and squeezes the toothpaste, he's going to have that 10% extra toothpaste coming onto his toothbrush, and the consumption will automatically go without doing anything by 10%, without anyone knowing about it. Very simple idea, came not from the MBAs from IIM Ahmedabad or anything, came from a very normal person who was a low-lying executive, who very randomly and recklessly, when everyone had given their ideas, just came up and gave a very simple thing. And everyone looked dumbfounded how simple it was. And it didn't strike any of them. So that's how life is. And so don't worry about the guy in a Ferrari. You can also do it. Thank you. If no one
always been so inspiring. You've always been so inspiring. Always.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, if no more questions.
Thank you so much, sir, for being here with us and taking time out of your busy schedule.
Yeah, thank you very much. Wish you all the best in life.
Thank you so much, sir, for being here with us.
Go ahead and rock it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.